Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this super exciting series on Nest 1D. My name is Jacobus Oberholster. I'm an AEC and Procon technical consultant with Micrographics, and I will be taking you through this epic series. So, just as a matter of introduction, Nest 1D is a nesting tool. And I know that usually when we think of nesting, we think of plates cut out of a standard sheet. But this nesting tool is used for your structural elements. So those being your beams and columns and actually of any materials. So even if you think of timber beams, structural steel beams, whatever it might be, anything with a standard stock length can be used or would be relevant to use Nest 1D for. And what it will allow you to do is actually allow you to optimize your cut length utilization and also to determine how many of a standard section you need. So how many standard stock lengths do you need of a specific section type? And that's very exciting because with large complicated projects, this becomes an incredibly difficult task. And also it can save you thousands upon thousands of rands if done properly. So without further ado, let's jump straight into Revit. And what we have here is we have an incredibly large model with over 8,300 individual beam elements. Now what will happen is we will schedule every single one of these using some of the tools in Revit. We'll export that to Excel. We will do just a few changes to set it up for importing into Nest 1D, where again, we will be able to optimize these cut lengths and actually determine the percentage utilization. Because remember, if a standard stock length is 9 meters and you have only one of those elements that is 3 meters long, your wastage will be 6 meters. Apologies for the bad math there, but your wastage will be 6 meters. Now, with Nest 1D will identify those points and it will also show you if you've got 100 members of the same member type, how all of those different cut lengths of that particular member will fit into the different stock lengths. So very, very cool and incredibly useful. Okay, so in part one, we will only look at setting up our schedule in Revit, and then part two and part three will be jumping straight into Nest 1D. So these sections, I'm hoping to keep these quite short to make them as impactful as possible and also allow you to actually just see what's available without having to spend too much time. So again, if you're interested in anything I'm about to show you, please just go back, check the front page with my email address on it, and please feel free to reach out if you need more information. So all right, without further ado, let's jump into our schedule creation. So we're going to go into the View tab, and we're going to click on Schedules and click on Schedule Quantities. And what we're looking for here specifically is our structural framing category. Apologies. All the way down, go to structural framing specifically, and then we're going to click OK. All right, now the available fields we want count, we want cut length, we're looking for family and type. So there's family and type. And then we're also interested in the stock number. Now, these are usually stock standard with your different families. So it's not necessary that you might have to create one. In this case, we don't have a stock number. So I just need to think whether this family and type, cut length and count is sufficient. And I believe it will be, so we can actually just give this a go. You can also assign material as well, but that's not something we'll necessarily need. All right, so let's go into it. So I'm going to say okay, and then Revit will now create this schedule for us. Now what we can do then is we can go to File, go to Export, and we can create a PDF file, or we can actually create a different type of schedule or file. And we can just go to Reports, go to Schedule, and what we'll do is it will save it as a .csv. So we'll say Structural Framing Schedule, we'll save that. We're happy with all of this, and we're happy with the delimiter as well. And we click OK. All right, so that should sort that out. What we can do now is we can go and find that file. So just bear with me as I find that file quickly. And it will initially be as a .csv. So here we have it. And then what we can do is we can actually go and say save as, and we want to save this as an Excel workbook. Just hit save. Okay, this is now an Excel workbook. Everything is nicely in its own column, which is great. You can actually delete that one over there. We'd probably like to keep the names. And there is something specific that we need to do, and that is that we need to create a part number. So that's where my hubbub came with the stock number. So the stock number would be something that you draw in from Inventor, which Nest 1D does integrate with directly. But like I said, we're not interested in that. We're going to be looking at creating our schedules and using Revit for that. So we just need to create an extra column. We call that part number. And then what you'll do is you'll just use a simple formula. And you'll create that part number, which will be a combination of the family and type. Then you'll use apostrophe, the and sign, space, another and sign, apostrophe, or actually it's rather apostrophe, then the and sign, space, and we're going to add our cut length. And this is what that part number should look like. And all you can do is you can just double click there, and it should populate all of them. Now you can see at the moment we have got, well, actually 7,980 different elements. Okay, these could be of the same sections, as you can see, but they can be different lengths. And here and there would be an anomaly, but those anomalies will actually be picked up, or it'll be easy for you to pick those anomalies up in Nest 1D. All right, and that is it. So we've got our schedule ready for importing straight into Nest 1D. And then in part 2, we will be jumping into importing and setting up our Nest 1D file, basically. So check you in part 2. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to running through the rest of this series with you.